Hello there. This is Miss Griffith once again, and I have a math lesson for you today. In a previous video, we worked on understanding two-dimensional shapes, which are flat shapes. And for this video, we are going to work on understanding three-dimensional shapes, which are a little bit different than the two-dimensional shapes. It says, look at the example, then solve. We want to take a look at the example before we begin trying to solve the questions on the worksheet. The example says, what flat shape is a face of a cone? This is a cone here. Whenever I hear the word cone or see a picture of a cone, I always think of an ice cream cone. So the face of a cone, this bottom piece right here, is a circle. Now that we have looked at the example, we can read the directions for question number 1 and move on. It says, draw a line to match each solid shape to a similar flat shape. So we are going to look at these solid shapes here and draw a line to match them to a similar flat shape here. The first shape I want to take a look at is a cube. This shape is a solid shape, and this looks like a cube. I have an example of a cube here. This is an oversized die. This is not exactly a cube because of the indents here, but it is very similar. So if you had a die, that is the shape of a cube. So if we're looking at the shape of a cube and we see this side is flat, this side would be a square. So each side of a cube would be a square. Now that I know what a cube looks like in real life, and I know what each face looks like, I'm going to draw a line from the cube to the square. I'm now going to look at this shape here. This shape is a rectangle. Excuse me, a rectangular prism. This is a rectangular prism. And an example of a real life object would be a box of pasta. So these are some of the sides of a rectangular prism. If we're looking at the faces would be a rectangle. So I am going to draw a line from the rectangular prism to the rectangle here. Now I am going to look at this shape here. This shape here is called a cylinder, and a real life object would be a can of soup. A can of soup. So if we look at the cylinder and look at this face here, this face would be a circle. So I'm going to draw a line from the cylinder to the circle here. We have matched up the solid shapes to flat shapes that are similar or almost the same. Now we are going to move on. Number 2 says, color the solid shapes that have more than one flat face. So we want any shapes with more than one. So more than one would be 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. If it just has one, we're not going to color it. So looking at a cone, it has one flat face, and that would be the bottom. For the purpose of this, I'm going to just shade or color in the flat face. Because this only has one flat face, I'm going to cross it out. Now, looking at the cube, each side of the cube would be a flat face. This side is a flat face, this is a flat face, this side's a flat face, this side, and so on. So a cube certainly has more than one flat face. So I'm going to circle it, and I'm just going to color the whole shape in so that we know that this shape has more than one flat face. Now, if we're looking at this shape, which is a sphere, and my example here is a ball or a softball, I don't have any flat faces here because the ball is round. So I'm going to X this shape out because it does not have more than one flat face. And if I was looking at this shape here, there are flat faces. Each side is a flat face. So I'm going to go ahead and circle the rectangular prism and color it in. The cube and the rectangular prism have more than one flat face. Number 3, color the solid shapes that have a circular face. So a circular face would be a face in the shape of a circle. So if we look at a cone, I mentioned in number 2, or the problem just previous to this, that a cone has a circular face. It just has one face, and that face is in the shape of a circle. I'm going to color this whole shape in because it does have a circular face, and I'm also going to circle it. Now, if we were looking at a cube, once again, I'll bring the die out. This is a square face. This would be a square face. This would be a square face. On the shape of a cube, we do not have any circular faces. Now, on the shape on a cylinder, we do have a circular face. We have one circular face, and then if I were to flip it over, we also have another circular face. So I am going to color in the cylinder and circle it. And last but not least, if we were looking at the rectangular prism, which is our box of spaghetti here, we do not have any circular faces because the faces on a rectangular prism are rectangles. Let's go ahead and work on number 4. Number 4 says, color the solid shapes that have curved surfaces. So we're wanting a surface that has a curve. So if we pull out the soup can or the cylinder, we have a circular flat face, a circular flat face. However, this is curved. Around the body of the can or the cylinder is curved. So I am going to color in the cylinder because it does have a curved surface. Now, if I were to look at the ball, it does have a curved surface. No flat sides here, just curved surfaces. So I'm going to color in the sphere and circle that. Now, if we were to look at the rectangular prism or our spaghetti box, there are no curved surfaces. There are just flat sides. So I am going to cross out the rectangular prism. And for the cone, we have one flat side, but we also have curved surfaces. So I am going to circle the cone and color it. In this video, we worked on understanding three-dimensional solid shapes. Thank you for watching.